Hi, everybody. Before we get to another great interview, we could really use your help. IMDb, which is the entertainment database, recently named the Too Opinionated podcast one of its top 100 podcasts. This is a monumental feat for this program. We're a father and son team out of a small town in West Virginia, have been doing this for about 5 years. There's 15 million podcasts out there. About 40,000 of those get to the point that they're listed on IMDb. Out of those 40,000 out of the 15 million, we were ranked number 82. Something that we're just immensely proud of. We're so thankful for our listeners, our watchers, our fans. Thank you so, so much. If you would like to help us out, and we're asking for it, please. It's easy. It's really easy. It's free. If you go to IMDb, that's imdb.com, look up Too Opinionated Podcast, and just take a look at the page. That's all you have to do. I mean, you're welcome to look at the cast, look at the episodes so you can kind of see who's been on the program. Do whatever you want. But even just bringing up the page, imdb.com, Too Opinionated Podcast, bring up the page, look at it. That helps us so much. So please, if you can do anything, we would really appreciate that. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. Love to have your subscription there. It's also free. And you can also check out our website, meistercon.com, where you'll find almost 700 episodes, audio and video, available on there. There's also a terrific blog from Brett, and it'll let you know anything that we have going on in studio, if we're covering a convention, if we're going on location, anything that we have going on will be on the website, meistercon.com. Thank you guys so, so much. We appreciate you so much. I can't express enough how appreciative we are of all of you. We never expected to do as well as we have, and that's all because of you. Thank you so much. Enjoy that interview. Bye, everybody. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Too Opinionated. So excited today. I've got the band Roanoke with me, so I'm going to let you guys introduce. So Taylor, let's start with you. Give us a little introduction. Talk a little bit about what it is you do.
Yeah, my name is Taylor. I am part of Roanoke. I'm one of the singers and songwriters and kind of business guru, you might say.
This is actually your second time on the podcast. You came
Yes.
on with your other musical persona, Lavetta, and we loved having you on and loved the music. So I've been listening to Roanoke, over this past weekend. Oh my gosh. It's the best. I absolutely love you guys.
Thanks, man.
It's like I grew up on 70s music, and it really does have a 70s kind of Fleetwood Mac vibe. It's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So Joey, same question. Give us an idea about what you do for the group and a little bit of your background.
I do. I'm one of the main songwriters, and I do guitar, vocals, backing vocals, harmonies. Really kind of whatever I can get my hands on in the studio or whatever they'll let me do, I try to do. But it usually doesn't go too far past those things.
Yeah, that's pretty versatile, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did the group Roanoke get together?
We were all, man, way back. I mean, I can give you the in-depth story. I'll try to spark note it. It was like I moved here with the guy who was the original drummer of the band.
Yeah.
And they're here. By here, I mean Nashville. And we all started working at BB King's Blues Club like the second week we moved. And then Taylor had moved either like a month before me or a month after me. So it was kind of like we had all kind of happened to find ourselves in the same place at the same time. And we were all songwriters. So we started hanging out and making music. And I don't remember exactly how it happened, but before we knew it, we had like a batch of like 6 or 7 songs. So we were like, maybe we should do an EP or something, So it really started with us just like waiting tables and then waiting tables at night and then recording during the day. And we just straight up did that for like multiple months and it was rough. But
Yeah.
we got the first record done. And it was honestly a really cool experience because we started it in an old church that they converted into a recording studio. So it had this like crazy big room sound.
Yeah.
And then after
Well, you
that, I
can't
mean, we
beat a
just,
church for
no,
acoustics.
you really can't, especially if you're making a record. Like, I really think we lucked out on the space to make the first record. And then we finished it at like, that turned out a little rough. And then we took it to Sound Emporium, which is like a pro level studio in
Yeah.
Nashville, and he fixed it up. And then we just kind of got real lucky and got on some playlists and ended up kind of giving us like a reach out to stuff. Actually, the GM of the Blues Club at the time was the first dude to ever book us a tour. He's like, all right, because we would play on the stage for like brunch and stuff, and he's like, all right, I'm gonna put you guys on the road, and he's like, I'm gonna be your manager, and yeah, and so he booked us like the weirdest tour ever, and then that got us on the road. And then from there, we just kept hitting it and kept hustling. And then eventually we got picked up by a booking agent. And we just sort of like hit the ground running after that.
Yeah, I love that story, but I guess the question I have is when you first got together, how do you figure out which sound fits for, you know what I mean? Did you try like a whole bunch of different things and just be like, oh yeah, that sounded good? Or did you have an idea going in about the sound that you wanted to make?
That's a good question. I feel like it kind of, I don't know how you feel, Joe, but I feel like it kind of came with just the songs we were writing at the moment. We were kind of listening to a lot of like we were definitely more on the rock side of things now, but we did start off doing more of like a folk thing, which actually a lot of rock bands, in the 70s did kind of started off in the folk into rock, which, so we were just listening to a lot of like Civil Wars at the time and kind of that kind of folk thing. And those are just the songs that I think were coming out of us. So we kind of leaned into that. And then as we performed live, it just kind of escalated into something else very naturally.
Yeah. Well, I mean, would you call it? I mean, it's kind of. I guess I would call it like pop rock type of now. Yeah.
Yeah. Come back between like indie rock, pop rock. We call it mystic rock. Kind of, got a lot of like cross genre.
What was the name of the first album?
It was self-titled.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right out the gate with a self-titled record.
That's a bold move.
I know. And because we couldn't think of anything to name
Yeah,
it.
I don't think we were thinking about it like that. I think it was like Roanoke, I guess. Like, okay.
Well, how did the name come about?
Oh God. It was we were all living in a house together and just like kind of like trying out names, and then we had Taylor stumbled across the name Roanoke, and it was a toss up between Roanoke or Northerner. That's what it was going to be, the two. And we ended up choosing Roanoke. No, they were both good, and it was a toss up between the two. I don't remember anymore exactly why we chose Roanoke. I know Taylor probably could speak on that a little more than me.
I think mostly we just liked the name and needed a.
Yeah, what you're seeing is us getting really good at avoiding this question because we've had to do it over the last 8 years.
Yeah, well, the important thing is the name works. It's a good band name.
Thank you. I think so.
Thank you.
Yeah. Didn't you guys just get back from a tour not too long ago?
No, chilling for a little bit, just kind of working mostly on recording, social media, kind of releasing music. So yeah, we haven't been on. The last thing we did was we went to South by Southwest in March.
So it's been nice. So it's been a little while. Yeah. Yeah, I was in Austin October. I don't know, for the music festival out there, the Austin City Limits. Which was,
oh man, I wanted to go to that.
Oh man, it was good. Alanis Morissette was for me, that was the highlight. I mean, Foo Fighters were there; they were awesome. But I guess she's touring a little bit now, but it's been a while since she's really got out there, so it was cool seeing her. Pretty good.
Yeah.
So the new single is Back Again, and that song's awesome.
Thank you.
That's it starts, when you start and you're like, oh, that's pretty good. But once you guys start kind of harmonizing together, it's awesome. That's one of my favorite songs that you've done. And I think most of them that I listened to was off of Wolf Motel. And those songs I really enjoyed too. But this one's probably my favorite that you've done.
Amazing. Thank you.
Man.
Yeah.
Proud of it. Like it.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about it. What's the song about, and where'd the idea come from?
I wrote this song years ago when we were all living in the band
Did you
house.
say 10 or so?
Yeah, years ago, 10 or so. And it's kind of just about like fleeting moments that seemed fleeting in the moment, but looking back, they were kind of like very impactful. So like, this one particularly kind of leans towards like a love story, and somebody that seems like maybe they were just not meant to be there forever, but it's still important. It still leaves like a lasting impression on you. It's very much about nostalgia.
Yeah, for sure.
That's it had that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
It reminded me of this is dating myself, but in the late 70s, my parents drove, I don't even remember what brand, but it was a station wagon, but it had an 8-track in it. It reminded me of listening to music in that car on 8-track.
I love that.
Yeah, that's really cool. That was kind of the goal. Even with Wolf Motel, that was kind of the goal to bring back that like old school feeling that obviously is before my time and Taylor's time, but
I know. How do you get that sound when neither one of you was around back then?
Well, I grew up on that type of thing. Yeah. There was a radio station in Florida where I grew up. It was called the Gator, and it played exclusively like top 40 rock and roll from like the 50s through the 80s. And it was my favorite radio station.
It's called something different here, but we have that station.
Yeah, and they had this portion on there called "Get the Lead Out," and it was like 3 Zeppelin tunes in a row. And that was really where it kind of was like, okay, this type of music kicks ass, and I really want to be a part of it. I remember feeling that way. Like it was all about, I was kind of all over the map until I heard Led Zeppelin. And then it was like, all right, very clear, like direction after that, But getting that sound of a whole other beast, though, it's like you got to use the old recording tricks, like they used to back in the day.
Yeah. I mean, is it easier or harder to make it sound kind of old school?
For us, I think it just comes naturally with the production and the songwriting, or arrangement in the songwriting, because it's like you can go in the studio and use like little tricks here and there to really give it that 70s vibe, but we didn't want it to be a copycat. We wanted it to kind of like have that modern sensibility on top of it as well. So yeah, I think the songwriting is what really kind of lends itself to that sound, and the harmonies for sure. And honestly, that's come pretty naturally to us. It hasn't really felt forced. It felt very authentic. It's music we love, so kind of just what was coming out of us songwriting wise.
Yeah, that's awesome. And back in the late 90s, I was running a Ticketmaster call center, and this is before the internet had hit. So you had to call in to get your tickets, and we had probably 800 agents, something like that, on the floor on a on sale Saturday, because we had to have enough to take the calls. The majority of them were high school kids, and I remember working on a Saturday, and this young girl comes up to me. She's probably 17, 18 years old, and she said, "I've got somebody on the phone, and they keep asking for something called Led Zeppelin. Have you ever heard of something called Led Zeppelin?"
Oh, dude. What are they, a new band or something? Are they just getting started?
I was like, yeah, they just came out.
I think they're gonna make it too. I think they're gonna go.
Yeah, I think they're gonna do okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you've never grown up on that music, and I was the same way, in the 70s, I was listening to, like 50s and 60s country, because that's what my parents were listening to. And then, as we got later into the 70s, it was Donna Summer and Electric Light Orchestra, Stevie Wonder, that type of stuff. And then after that, we started hitting like Fleetwood Mac, some of those groups. And it was just a great decade with that. And I love that your sound takes me back to that. I listened to it all day yesterday.
Thanks,
you, man. That's really cool.
That's what we hoped for. So we appreciate it.
Yeah. And I saw, and I love the fact that you guys usually do videos to go along with the songs you released. There's a good video on this one.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, we did something simple. Just we recorded Muscle Shoals and just kind of wanted to document the experience, and that's what came out of that. So
yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, what's the plan going forward? Is it are you still releasing songs leading up to a new album, or are these just kind of individual?
Yeah, I think like that's an interesting question, especially to answer right now. I think that for the first time in a long time, we're kind of in a transitionary period. Yeah. Where we signed with Kill Rock Stars. We're with that's our first record label, and
congrats.
Thank you. So and they've been awesome, and they've really been standing behind us and allowing us to release music and giving us a platform to release music on. So I think in the way I see it, I don't know, Taylor, I hope we're on the same page with this, but the way that I see it is just to continue to write and record and just really continue to hone in on a sound over and over and over again. You know what I mean? Because in the past, it's like we've only been able to release music every few years because of, we were predominantly on the road, and it's really difficult to record when you're touring, and it's also very expensive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. I guess I never thought of that. But if you're out on the road, not easy to actually make new music. I mean, you might be able to write some, but to actually make the music, you need to be somewhere kind of steady, or in the studio. Yeah, a little bit tough on the road.
Yep, definitely.
Which, speaking of, when will you be going back on the road? We're ready to travel to come see.
Yeah, I know. We don't have anything in the works yet, but hopefully 2024 we'll be playing some shows. Right now we're kind of concentrating on the writing and recording aspect of things, but hopefully soon.
What's the time to do it? You do your writing in the winter. It's too cold to be out there.
Yeah.
Then when it warms up in the spring and summer, then you hit the road.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah. November, December, those shows are like great for in-town stuff, because everybody's just kind of hanging around and having a beer, and it's just like, well, the year's over, we may as well jam, may as well make that guitar solo a little longer, may as well, you know what I mean? Like, it's that type of vibe over here.
Yeah, I love that. That's pretty great. Do you have what's next? Do you have a song that you've got kind of ready to go that you want to put out there next, or is it going to be a little while before we see the new music?
We have a few songs that we're kind of toying with. We have a collection of songs. We haven't decided which ones yet, but we have a group of songs that we're excited about, and we're getting to the studio very soon. So next week we're going to check out a couple studios and see where we want to record next. And yeah, so recording very soon.
What's your preference? Making the music or touring and getting to sing?
Ooh.
I really love both of them.
Yeah.
Honestly. Yeah. I think they're both different. They're both challenging in their own way. I think getting out there and playing the show is kick ass, and it's awesome. And like, I'm also a nerd about gear, so I get to use my amps and my pedals and, bring all the guitars out, and I love that. And it's really cool locking in on 3-part harmonies. It feels really big, but also being out on the road has a whole other like underbelly that just kind of beats the hell out of you. You know what I mean? And it's a lot of fun, and you get to see a lot of areas, but it's also, you're traveling constantly. And so that will take its toll. But also being in the studio, I love that whatever you're feeling at the moment, you can lay down and you get to kind of see, like, ground up this thing come to life that's kind of only been a concept up until that moment.
What do you do when you disagree about a song? How do you work
Oh,
that out?
Um, Usually bring in other opinions or teammates, which sometimes it's other bandmates or our team at like Kill Rock Stars.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah, I
just
guess
try to
now that you have a label, they might
yeah,
have to say in on some of
yeah,
that.
definitely. And we wanna work with them to make sure that everybody's happy and excited about what's being released. So yeah, I would just say we try to compromise and then kind of lean on our
yeah.
team.
But I will say that hasn't really been a big problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think
Yeah.
we're pretty. The song kind of like it's like when it's like the next one is pretty obvious. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
Yeah,
you and
I
I
mean that kind of makes sense to me. It
Yeah.
if you're used to each other and you're, a lot of bands are together, but they've got some animosity with each other. But if you're in a group and you get along well, I wouldn't think it'd be too difficult to agree on whatever song you're working on.
yeah,
Well,
I mean
even if like, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Taylor.
Um, yeah, in a band dynamic, it's like everybody's got, their own thoughts and opinions, and we want to make sure everybody feels heard and people disagree. That's just kind of part of being in a group of people, especially creative people. But we definitely try to like, take everybody's be fair and compromise and at the same time try to because it really is Joey's and mine's, you know, baby project.
Right.
We've kind of it, and we've had people kind of pop in and out, which has been so amazing, and we're so thankful for that, and for the people that have made music with us. But really, when it comes down to like decision making and stuff like that, the final call comes down to Joey and I. So as long as we're on the same page, we kind of get through it. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that when you're touring and you're kind of doing that type of thing. Do you prefer the smaller venues or like a bar, coffee shop, that type of thing, or do you prefer to get out there in front of a larger crowd, or does it matter?
larger crowd for sure. I feel less nervous in front of a larger crowd.
Yeah.
I'd say like festivals are probably my favorite. I just love the fun vibe
It's
and
such a great vibe at the
yeah,
festival. With it.
absolutely.
Plus,
Oh,
there's
festivals are
only so many
badass.
people
Yeah.
you can see from on stage.
Yeah.
When it's a big crowd, they all just kind of blend together.
Yeah, it's like when it's a small crowd, you're just so close.
Yeah,
And
you could see everybody, and
yeah,
that would make me nervous too.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. That whenever you can see, like you get a basically like a winter show where there's like 15 people there or whatever. That is pretty nerve wracking. You know what I mean? It is a lot. You do get a luxury of having like a big stage and the lights down, and you know, you hear in the crowd as opposed to like seeing everyone. That is its own vibe too. I really these days enjoy like a very like a packed club. You know, where like everyone, there are people in your face, but everyone's just so excited and shoulder to shoulder. You know what I mean? Like that to me is, I always have the most fun at those shows, but the bigger shows are more, it feels like you did something, it feels like you accomplished something.
Yeah, yeah, I get that, and I mean, I get the kind of the packed bar type of scene because you could really connect with your audience and your fans. Like in a bigger crowd, you're going to know they're enjoying it just by the rumblings from a big crowd. But with a smaller crowd, you could actually see individually whether or not they're liking it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that to me, I would enjoy that part of it. It might make me nervous, but I'd enjoy that part.
yeah, absolutely. There's definitely a connection there, which is great.
Yeah, yeah, that's not terrible. Is there, for either one of you, is there something that you haven't got to do in the band that you would like to try? Different instrument, different vocals, whatever. Is there something you haven't got to do that you'd like to try?
That's a good question. I don't know. Joe, you got one?
I've always thought it would be tight to have like a secondary percussion kit set up and like just sort of dig into the rhythm section for like a part of a song or something. I've always thought that'd be really fun. I've seen bands do that when I was growing up, and and I always thought that it was really dynamic.
Yeah. I think that sounds kind. Have you thought about like when you're doing a show, bringing in like more, like have a bigger back band?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have before. We've had up to I think like 7 or 8 people on
Oh,
stage
that's
before.
a lot. What
Yeah,
instruments are you playing when it's that big?
It was like I think, was that like Sunfest or something? Like there's a bunch of
Yeah.
people. We had pedal steel, electric guitar, bass, piano, or like keyboards, violin.
That's a violin too. That's a lot.
Yeah, man, that was the second EP. Whenever we were like in between sounds, so we had just like basically we had two bands on stage at the same time. It's kind of what we did.
No
If you really
horns.
think about
You
it,
couldn't
it was
fit
what we did.
horns in there too.
Well,
No.
you know, I'd love to, but
Well, it's always so great to talk with you, Taylor and Joey. So nice to meet you. I absolutely love the sound. So
thank you.
don't stop what you're doing, and you have to let me know when you do start touring a little bit, or at least playing some shows. You know, Nashville. I think I told you, Taylor. It's like 4.5 hour drive from where we're
Yeah,
at. We'll
not
come
bad
out.
at all. Yeah.
Oh man.
Hey, we'd love to
We've
see
got
you.
good food too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad. I went out to Nashville for my birthday last year, and that's the first time I'd ever been out there. And it's about a 4.5 hour drive, and 4 hours and 15 minutes of that is completely barren. There's nothing. And then Nashville. It's just like empty Nashville.
Oh, I know that drive, dude.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those drives that if you see a gas station, you better stop.
Yeah. Take advantage.
Well, so a couple of things before we wrap it up. Is there anything else either one of you or both of you are working on that we can kind of keep an eye out?
I think we're just both recording individual music and music with the band. So just following along. We're very active on Instagram, I would say. Just Roanoke Band. So yeah, just follow along there, and we kind of announce everything there and have lots of new music coming up.
I love that you're both doing individual music. That's cool.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem to affect you as a band.
Yeah. It's
honestly, I think it helps, man, because I remember it, like Roanoke, like whatever we were all writing songs. We lived in a house with a bunch of songwriters, so it's like you're always writing, and there's always new songs getting thrown around. But it was very clear which ones were like Roanoke style tunes. So it's like all these other songs that I'm writing, and I'm sure Taylor feels the same way. It's like it feels like there's just another home for them, so they don't really kind of sit on the back burner for too long.
So when you do something individual, do you reach out and help each other?
We kind of just like let that be our creative territory, you know, because our collaborative effort is Roanoke. I mean, I'm always down to play music on anybody's stuff because I love to play, but it's pretty much like we collaborate, and because that's what we sound like when we're like the sum of Taylor and I is Roanoke. So it's like if I'm gonna play on her stuff, it's just gonna sound like a Roanoke song,
right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess that's true. But I kind of like it that you've each got your kind of creative endeavors individually, and that probably can only help you when you get back together for the band.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, that's
we love
pretty
it.
great. Well, so Taylor, let's start with you. Go through your social media where we can find you, and then Joey do the same, and then somebody give me Roanoke stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just Lavetta Music on Instagram, and Lavetta Music online, and Lavetta on Spotify. And then Roanoke, we're just roanokeband.com, and Roanoke on Instagram.
Yeah.
On Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the new single, which came out unbelievably, it's been like 3 weeks already.
Yeah.
It came out.
Yeah.
Is Back Again.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's
you
the
can find
response
me.
been for it?
Oh, what's that? It's been good. Yeah, people have been excited. We've got some really good press on this tune, and there's been
a good song.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we've gotten some good press on this tune, and it seems to be pretty well received. I've been watching kind of, keeping an eye on Spotify. You know what I mean? Keeping an eye and seeing who's watching. And
I do know what you mean, because we do the same thing watching the numbers with the podcast. You're sitting there and be like, is anybody going to listen?
yeah,
It starts coming in, and then it gets kind of addictive because you can't stop looking at it.
Yeah.
You got to force yourself to walk away.
Yeah.
Joey, where can we find you on social media?
you can find me on Instagram. It's Joey Beesley Music. That's Beesley, and I'll be on Spotify in 2024, so you can keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, that's congrats. That's awesome. That's
Thank you.
awesome. So where can we find Roanoke? Is it just Roanoke?
Roanoke Band.
Roanoke Band. Okay.
Yeah, Roanoke Band. That's on Instagram, and we also have roanokeband.com.
Yeah.
And between the two of those, it's every link you'd ever need. It's got all of our streaming information. It's got
your website's actually pretty good. That's
Thank you.
Because it's not easy to have a decent website that you can kind of move around. You guys do a good job.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. I know, because we have to maintain our own. We're just a 2-man operation, so we do our own, and it's a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Just
it's funny because
updating.
I think it starts out the same way every time for me, because I'll do it, or one of us will do it, and then I'm like, sick, we did it, and then I just forget everything I learned just now. And then I'll come back like a year later, and I just have to relearn it.
Yeah.
And I freak out for a good half hour, and then then I finally have to just be like, all right, we're gonna do it. And I keep finding myself back to the same exact piece of information every single time I do it.
I have to actually schedule time that I'm going to work on the website, or else I'll just find excuses not to.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And it doesn't feel like you can go on. It feels like everyone's saying, "Oh, did you post on Instagram today? Did you post on Instagram today?" No one's asking you if you updated your website today.
That's right. Yeah, you're right. Nobody comes to you and be like, "Haven't seen anything new on the website in a while."
Yeah, no one has ever said that one time ever.
Do you guys do merchandise? Do you handle that yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, we have it up on our site through Bandcamp. We do merchandise. We've got T-shirts, CDs, vinyl, all that fun stuff.
Who designs for you?
Oh, we've been all over the board. We've been,
yeah,
I can't even.
Yeah, I thought maybe one of you was an artist and did the.
We've done a couple.
One of us should be an artist, I think.
Yeah, we've done. We leave it to the professionals for the most part.
Yeah. We designed a couple ones. Like one of the merch shirts that we designed that we were all really stoked on was we had a T-Rex playing a mandolin. That was really funny. That shirt was really good. We've had like shirts where we all go out and do a photo shoot, and then just get that photo shoot kind of like etched into a shirt. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, we have like, we come up with the merch like, oh, we're gonna have lighters, or it's gonna be, you know what I mean? Like, we come up with that stuff, and then
then you got to figure out what to put on them.
We provide jobs to people.
Well, thank you both for coming on the show. The song's back again. It's awesome. Open invitation. Whenever you have something going on, just holler at me. We'll get you back on.
Thanks, man.
Great.
Hey, thank you so much for having us.
It's been great talking to you.
Yeah, of course. Hold on one second. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. Absolutely love when Taylor comes on. If you haven't checked out that interview, it was under Lavetta, which is her solo name, and it's terrific. She's wonderful. Her music is just awesome. I absolutely love her voice. Please do yourself a favor and check that out. The new song for Roanoke is out now, and I would definitely suggest that you check it out. It makes me think so much of the 70s and Fleetwood Mac and those type of bands. I absolutely loved it, and I think she mentioned the Civil Wars. Really, really well done. Joey has a terrific voice as well. They're both pretty musically inclined, but their voice is unbelievable, and their songwriting skills are really, really strong. So I hope you enjoyed that. The new song's back again. Please give it a listen. Keep an eye out for them, because I think they're just going to keep getting better. And you check out their website, and it's got all their music videos on there. It's really, really good. Thank you guys for tuning in again with us this week. We don't take you for granted. Please check out our website, meistercon.com. We've got we're closing in on 700 episodes. We've got all of those audio and video on the website. So please check us out there. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. Love to have you subscribe. Would really appreciate the support. Thank you guys so much. Till next time. Bye, everybody. Hi, everybody. I'm once again here to ask for your support. It's been a big year for the Too Opinionated podcast. Back in February, we got to live out a dream, moderate for William Shatner here in our hometown. In May, we passed 100,000 downloads on our YouTube channel, and we followed that up in June with 50,000 downloads on the audio side. We recently posted our 600th episode, which is pretty good volume for just a father and son operation. You know, not too many podcasts can keep that volume up. We've been doing this now for 4.5 years, 600 plus episodes. We recently hit 1,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel, which is a really big deal for us because we've always gotten the views, but have struggled to get people to subscribe. So that 1,000 was a big deal for us. And best of all, we were recently named one of the top podcasts on IMDb, which is the entertainment database. You know, those that are ahead of us, we came in at number 82. Those that are ahead of us are bigger companies like Disney, mostly Marvel, and Joe Rogan, that type of podcast. So for us, being just a small West Virginia father and son podcast, to be in the top 100 out of 15 million, it's a pretty big deal for us. So thank you for everything you've done for us so far. Got a couple little ways, though, that you can help us, and they're free, and they're really easy. If you haven't checked out our YouTube channel yet, please go to YouTube. It's under MeisterCon Pod. Just hit subscribe. It's free. Doesn't cost you anything. Really helps us a ton. And maybe even more important, if you could go to IMDb, imdb.com, look up the Too Opinionated podcast, and just look around the page. Just having that traffic on the page really helps us out. So that's a couple easy ways that you can support us, even if you're not listening or watching all of the time. And we want you to listen and watch, because I think that our guest list, I would put up against anybody, any other show, podcast, anybody out there. I think our guest list holds up. So please check us out. You probably will find somebody that you like, or maybe somebody that you didn't know you liked, but kind of discovered them on there. There's tons of that. If you're into music, we have that too. If you like books, we've got authors on there. If you're more into what goes on behind the scenes in the entertainment world, you know, we've got producers, directors, video artists, anything you can think of that happens behind the scenes, we've had them on the show. So definitely check us out. Thank you guys so much. Until next time. Bye, everybody.